Good morning, Jean.
Good morning, Hans.
First of all, thank you for your time to have this conversation. Today, the EWJI will have its annual assembly here in Antwerp. This conversation will be part of our yearbook 2023. First of all, could you give a short introduction about yourself?
Yes. Hi, Hans. So my name is Jean Guts. I'm a chemical engineer. I worked since '88 in the chemical and the oil business. I started in operations in a chemical plant, and then I went to the HSSE department, and I was the HSE manager for more than 30 years in different chemical, petrochemical and oil companies of plants within Total Energies. And since 1 year I'm secondee from Total Energies to CEFIC, where I have in charge a number of subjects. The one who is interesting for us is the one on process safety and plant safety, where I manage a group of people coming from national associations all over Europe and from different industrial companies, and where we speak about safety topics, including, in fact, water jetting as being one of the risk topics we have to manage.
Okay. For the audience, a short introduction about myself. Like you, I'm a chemical engineer from background, working for Dow Chemical, in which I'm responsible for industrial cleaning, both the technical, strategic, but also safety-wise. We met before in the board of CEFIC, which is the Dutch-Belgium Association for Industrial Cleaning. And I think it would be a good to have a discussion about what are our concerns and innovations in our industry, both the chemical but also the larger water jetting industry, which will help us or where we need to address to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think what's important for us is that every time in all our plants, everybody goes home after his day in a good shape, in a good health. That's the most important thing, so that we don't have accidents. And regarding to water jetting and other contractors we are using in our industry, I think we have to work together to achieve that goal. We can't do that alone as a chemical industry, you can't do that alone as a contractor. And so it's working together to see how we can continue to improve, in fact, the way we're working together to be sure that, in fact, the work is done in a good way, in a sustainable way, and in a safe way, so that everybody can go home in a good health.
Yeah. You just mentioned sustainability, and we know sustainability, a large portion is the personal and process safety. Besides that, we also have a focus on environmental impact. Personally, I think water consumption and fuel consumption, mainly diesel but also electric consumption in the industry could improve. What are your thoughts about that?
In fact, I think if you look to the industry, in the chemical industry, because we are speaking about the chemical industry, you have the Green Deal, which is one of the most important, I would say, documents of goals we all have to achieve if we want to save the planet. I will say it like that. And industry and chemical industry is already working on that since many years, and together with their contractors. And clearly we worked with contractors to improve on sustainability. Like you said, on water, for example, by the fact that you start with automatization, you will use less water. If you can also look to how you can recuperate the water you used, clean it and reuse it and so on. So those are all topics we are working on together with the contractors, because they have the knowledge of their work. We have a certain knowledge, but not that one. And then we have to find solutions to improve and continue to improve, so that at the end we use less water, we use less energy, and we have we are winning on the different subjects.
Like you just mentioned, I completely agree with you. I think in industry, and it's broader than only the chemical industry, automation has been really thriving for the last 10, 12 years. I think besides the service providers, so the cleaning companies and the asset owners, there's also an important role for the manufacturers of equipment. I think organizations like EWJI, but also the safety associations like ASTRA-C for France, CEF for the Netherlands, DRV for Germany, ALTAP for Spain, WGA for the UK, have a role to play in this larger picture. Towards safety, automation was really a thriving improvement. I also, my own experience is that also efficiency, quality improved enormously since we started using more automated systems. Not to take away people out of work, but to make sure that we had a wide focus on safety, efficiency, quality, and like you said, higher efficiency, lower water use, lower fuel use. So I think it's all hand in hand in this space.
It's clear that in fact, for me, the role of the national associations, and one of the roles is to bring together all the actors of the chemical, the industrial cleaning. And like you said, you have the asset owners, you have the contractor or the cleaning companies, but you have also those who make the product. And they have to sit together, all three, to find solutions to improve. And clearly the first point is safety. And by automatization, I think we take away, we made a distance between the people who was cleaning and the risk, so that's a very good thing. But now we also have to think on how we can improve on the other parts like energy, like water and so on. And that's only possible with discussion between those three, and that has to be done within the national association or within the European association, if you go on a higher level. And together we will find the solutions to improve. We can't do that alone as asset owners. You can do that alone the contractors can't do that alone. And I think the third part, who are in fact those who prepare the equipment and so, they can't do that by their own because they don't have the knowledge they need for to come to that solution, in fact.
Yeah, because at the end of the day it's a complete, how do you say it, biosphere. You have one is needed for the other. So if the asset owner isn't requiring, the service provider will not invest. Yeah. If the service provider will not invest, the manufacturer of equipment will not innovate, develop, because there's no question. One other thing that...
Maybe just add something on that. So you're going to innovate, you're going to invest and so on. I think we then have to look to the global picture. And it's clear that if you go for innovation and you modify certain techniques like automatization, it's going to cost more to the asset owner. But normally at that moment, you also have to take into account the fact that the cleaning time will be shorter. So the asset owner will have his equipment quicker back, so he can produce quicker. And you have to take everything into consideration when you are looking to improvement, and it's the overall picture that has to be positive. Financially speaking, that's also important for the industry, clearly, but safety and environment are certainly two the most important topics, in fact.
Yeah, and I think the experience I have at the company that I work for is that because we work more automated, which leads to sustainable quality in cleaning, shorter duration of activities, hourly prices can be higher, they are higher, but we see a reduction in total cost because it really evens out because of duration. I completely agree to that, and one of the items that's coming up more and more is the difficulty in creating sufficient workforce. People who are operating the equipment in the field. And my personal opinion would be that also this automation could lead to a better level of job for the people, create opportunities for people to develop themselves in that workforce.
I agree with you. I think the time of using people just to do manual industrial cleaning, you're still gonna have it in a certain way, but you have to try to minimize that to maximum, and you hire the level of the job by automatization, by other techniques and so on. And it's important, if you want to find the people, and we have the problem that we don't find enough people today, that's clear, and so we need to have to bring it to an interesting job for the people who are going to do that. And the only way to make it interesting is to make it at a higher level, to continuous train the people and let them train themselves to improve, in fact, the way they are working, and also let them think with us to how we can improve and still can improve, and go. We have to go out of the boundaries. We have some techniques. We're using water jetting today to clean or to clean some equipment. Maybe we also have to think if there are no other systems who are less risky and so on to do the job, and it must be an open discussion. There may not be boundaries when you discuss those things, and include in the discussions the operators who do the job, in fact, because they have really the knowledge of what they are doing. We are standing a little bit behind, but they are really doing the job. So it's clearly an important point.
In your opinion, would be developing this type of activity towards really a craft or a trade help in this complete picture? Because then people see opportunities, also career opportunities in their own companies, that they will have opportunities to develop them more. Like you said, training is important. At the moment, I think often the idea is I'm just a jetter, so why should I develop myself more if I can handle that lens or I can do this? But introducing a lot of technologies more and more, we are expecting the jetter at the end of the day becoming more and more an operator. So in my assumption would be at some point we should work together, and you're completely correct with that, with the type of companies, all three, but also the people in all layers of the field, from the supervisors at the asset owner side till the jetter who's the boots on the ground in the field. What do I need? How can I improve? What's possible? What's non-possible?
I think the job today, it's an interesting job, and it can be interesting for the people. We have to make it in the documents we are making to try to find people. We have to show that the job is much more sexy than it is explained. We have to put more effort in the communication on that, to explain the job, to explain the importance of the job, to explain the career they can have in it, and to explain also with the work they can do, how they can help to improve and to make it more sustainable. And I think it's a word everybody is using now. It's something everybody wants to participate, or a lot of people wants to participate. We give them the chance to participate to that, and then you make it more sexy as a job. It's clear there are always parts who are maybe not so interesting in the job, but you have to see it as a global job, and I hope that will help to find necessary people to continue to do the job. Yes.
I think that's important, and I think organizations like the safety associations on the country level, but also an organization as EWJI could be a partner for the larger industry to assist, support where possible.
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, you have I would say the national associations are certainly on national level very important, because it's there that it happens. But at the other side, you have a lot of big companies having assets in different, I would say, European countries or outside Europe. And it's good to have for those companies, they have a common view they have one view for the company. And they try to put that view in all the different countries where they are operating. And so it's clear that there is an interest to have an European association or a world association or an American association, how you will organize that, because they have a role to play. They will not replace national associations, but they have a role to play. And I think the big players who can help to improve and to make the step change are more the bigger companies who are on a higher level and who can push, in fact, the modification and the improvements down to different countries.
For example, if I look to the company that I work for, the benefit of these type of organizations is that in the past it was often very difficult to find qualified cleaning companies because there wasn't a baseline towards safety, there wasn't a baseline to technology. Working together with the different safety associations within Europe, but also EWJI, will help us to establish that baseline, so it's easier for us to find the right type of service provider which can help us, because as a company we expect a certain level. If there aren't these type of organizations available and have rolled out guidelines or requirements, then you always need to start from zero, and starting from zero is very difficult.
Yeah, it's good to have your baseline, in fact, and then you have to see how it works. And there's one point where we absolutely have to look to is the competition law, and so we have to we may not go too far, or we have to respect the competition law. So and that's the only boundary I will say on that. But it's clear if we have a common understanding of what's the baseline, the minimum requirement are, and so on. I think it's clear that in all Europe that we are all using the same rules like it is in other domains of the safety, in fact, or environment. We have rules, I will say on environment, there are rules on European level. Everybody has to respect. So coming to that is certainly a good thing. But we have to look out for the competition law and the respect of the competition law.
I completely understand that. Normally I try to compare it with a driving license. If you have a Dutch or Belgian driving license, you are aware of what the laws or requirements are in the different countries. You know how to interpret the different traffic signs. If we would have that base expectation without being competitive against each other or creating an unfair level of competition within the industry, I think we would be on the good way.
Yeah, sure. I fully agree with you. It's opened the market in Europe, and it's certainly a good thing, and it's helped also the contractor who is doing the job to improve, because they will see in other countries that it's maybe working in a different way, and they can learn from each other. And if you can learn from each other, it's always to improve. And that's, I think, it's certainly for safety, but it's also for environment or for sustainability. It's an important point. We want to continue to improve, because if we don't continue to improve, we go down.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Like you said, there are a lot of large chemical companies, but also other industries that require cleaning. But the trend you see the last few years is that also the cleaning companies become more international. You have more and more companies that operate in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France. So I think it would be an adding value for those type of companies to understand how they can work on a base level within their company, to work on a safe method. Like you said, the intent should be everybody who starts a working day needs to get home safe in the same way he arrived.
That's completely correct. And then I think also if you go on higher level and you take, in fact for me, it's also on national level the case, but maybe more on European level, is that the big companies have to asset owners, but not only the asset owners, also the cleaning companies, the big cleaning companies, the big asset owners, they have to help the smaller ones who don't have the possibility to improve. They have to help them to come to a higher level, because we don't want only for our companies a safe work, we want it for the entire industry. And if you have an accident in another industry than ours, it's not good. So we don't want that either. So it's important to do it like that,
I completely agree. I think it's responsibility of the large companies to leading such efforts.
That's correct.
And organizations like you mentioned, STRC, DRV, ALTAP and EWJI can assist in that.
Yeah.
and even broader than only Europe. You have organizations from China to the US, Korea, and I think the vision and the incentive of all those organizations is the same.
Yeah.
Try to create a safer place for everybody with the right tools, the right training and education, and the right methods that they utilize.
That's correct. I fully agree with you. Yeah, yeah.
Jean, I would like to thank you for this conversation today.
My pleasure.
As I mentioned at the start, this will be part of our 2023 yearbook. I just wanted to give you one 2022 yearbook just for your information.
Thank you.
And would like to invite you and the CEFIC members to our 2024 event, which we will announce later on this year or beginning next year.
Okay, thank you, Hans. I think it was an interesting conversation, and I hope we show to everybody that, in fact, we only will improve if we work together. Yeah. And the fact that you invite us for the next year shows that the willingness, in fact, on working together and continue to work together to continue to improve and to go in the right direction. So, thank you.
No problem.